she said, well, after I left here, I called my mom. I said, okay. She said, and my mom says, that's how you make soup.
Hello, SLC, and welcome to Voice Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Danny, and I am joined in studio, as always, with
Reed
And Elle.
All right, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about and to Beth Insley. She runs the SA. She does her thing here at the school. And just to let you guys know that this is a bi-weekly podcast, so check us out every other week, not twice a week. Mm-hmm. It can be confusing. So definitely...
Yeah, every other week.
Every other week.
Yeah, and it's also a branch off of Voice Magazine, so if you haven't already checked that out, definitely do that.
Make sure to watch the podcast and read the magazine.
All right, and now we're joined with Beth. Beth, how's it going?
Good, how are you guys?
All right.
Good.
Yeah, good. And Beth, what's your role?
So I am the executive director for the Student Association. We're located on the second floor at St. Lawrence College. Basically, my job is to organize people, make sure the organization is thriving, and we're working towards our overall goals, which is supporting students on our campus.
Cool. When you say you're organizing people, is that like your staff?
Yeah, we have a lot of student staff. Mm-hmm. So I manage, at our prime, I manage over 30 student staff. And then I have 6 or 7 full-time managers. I also take care of our student pub. So awesome. I do manage a lot of people to ensure that we have resources where required. And I also manage relationships with the college. So I take a lot of pride in working with departments within the college to kind of push through student needs and advocate for students on their behalf in different areas.
Awesome. And so is that something that like drew you to this position, or what really drew you to it?
It's actually kind of a weird story. I came back to school as a mature student. I went into the School of Business because I felt that it was something that was broad enough that I could kind of do anything with. I ended up specializing in human resources. I always wanted to help people. I was really interested in counseling and psychology when I was younger, but when I ended up starting to take it, I did do it for a while. I got a little bit too emotional about it, and I didn't think I could like mentally handle it, but I still wanted to help people, so I did HR. So upon graduation, I had a friend who sat on the board. So we do have a 7-person, 7-student elected board, and she sat on the board, and she was telling me all about the Student Association. And through my time here, I didn't know much about the Student Association, to be honest. She started telling me things about it and said, hey, they're looking for a new executive director. So I, on a whim, applied. And once I started learning more about the job, I thought, this is something that might actually be good for me. So I was blessed and successful. I was the successful candidate. And once I started doing the job, I realized that it had a lot of likeness to managing people, working with people, but helping them through that and developing skills, because you're working with a lot of students. So you're developing a skill set for them and providing them all the resources and support to kind of be successful. So that's kind of what drew me to it, but it was kind of fluke in a way that I applied and I was successible. So
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So since you've been working so closely with so many students, what's your favorite story about a student, or maybe the funniest story that you have working with a student?
I have so many, so many. Students bring a lot of joy to my life. They make me feel, keep me feeling young. They teach me a lot of things. Like my first year, I will tell you a funny story, but my first year I learned what a GIF or GIF or whatever that is. And it was like,
we still don't
that's
know.
The
No
real
one
debate,
knows.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Still don't know.
Yeah.
Like, who actually knows? No one. Anyway, I learned all about these interesting things, and they teach me things every single day, and they keep me really, really humble, and you like learn so much about people at a pivotal time in their life. I really do think when you're a student, no matter how old you are, when you're learning at an accelerated speed and you're learning in this type of environment, I think it brings out a lot of like your natural tendencies and who you actually are. So I think you're meeting people at like a pivotal time in their life. But yeah, I do have a story for you. So maybe it's probably 2 years ago. I've been with the Student Association. I'm going on
almost 4.5 years now. So this is probably 2 years ago. A big part of my job is meeting with students if they do have feedback, requests, complaints about the larger environment here or about the student association. There's tons of different areas students can come and talk to us about. So I did have a student come to our front desk and asked to speak with somebody. They had a complaint. I was in my office and I said, sure, let's just send them back and I'll meet with them. So I had a student, she came in, she sat down, she introduced herself. We chatted for a couple minutes and she said, I have a complaint that I want to lodge with you and I want you to look into it. And I said, sure, that's my job, no problem. Let me know what's going on. She explained that she was purchasing soup from the cafeteria for like a long time. Like this was middle February, so she'd started in September and had been purchasing soup and really liked the soup that she was getting at the cafeteria, which is good soup. The pub also has soup, just so you guys know.
Just a plug.
We do soup and sandwich deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she, was talking to me about the soup, and I said, well, I'm glad you like it. She said, but I do believe that what they're using, the ingredients in the soup, I do believe that they're, cutting up carrots or celery or, whatever they're putting in that soup for that day and using it in different areas. So like they may be using some of that vegetables in the omelet station and some of the vegetables in the, the walk your way station, which is also excellent. And I said, that's how you make soup.
Yeah.
And I really didn't have much more feedback because I didn't really know I didn't know what to say. So I said, well, listen, leave it with me. Let me make a couple phone calls. It is my job to take, if that's a serious complaint, I need to do what I can. So I did. She left and said, thank you. We did have a conversation several times about like, that's how soup is made, but I will look into it. And I assured her that I would look into minimally like the food handling and the safety practices they're taking as far as like, prepping food and bringing it out to line. Yeah. So I made a couple phone calls. I was assured that they're following the regular food handling practices that are required. I didn't really go into depth about how the soup was being made. I just wanted to ensure that there was safety. So a day went by, I was sitting in my office and my front desk came back and said, that student's back to see you. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, no problem, send her back. And she came back and we chatted again for a little bit, asked her about her program and how her day was going. And she said, listen, I said, I did get some feedback. They're following the practices and standards. Said we could dig harder on that if you really want to, but I believe that they are. And I've never had any other issue. She said, well, I just wanted to come in and let you know something. And I said, sure. Like, what's up? She said, well, after I left here, I called my mom. I said, okay. She said, and my mom says, that's how you make soup. I was like,
Mom knows all.
Yeah, that is how you make soup. Now, moral of the story is she now knows how to make soup. Right? She learned how to make soup.
It's really important.
It is.
Yeah.
And
Soups
at
are good.
the end of the day, it does show that not only my job, but all of our job in the student association is to take everything really, like, if you come even with something like that, I still have to kind of pursue it and look into it. But it was really funny, and I think at the end of the day, she kind of was like, oh, like I've learned something here, and we ended up having a relationship throughout her time here, so it was kind of cool.
That's
good.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was funny though.
Also, another moral is always ask your mom.
Always ask
first. Always
Moms
ask
know.
your mom first, because moms know best.
Moms do know best.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
funny.
you've been at the school for a while, Beth.
I have. I started in my program in 2012.
Oh, wow.
So I've been on this campus for almost 8 years, 7.5 years. So I've been here for quite a while.
So you know it pretty well.
I
What
do.
would you say is maybe like a hidden gem or something that's really good that not a lot of people know about here at the college?
There's lots of hidden gems here. There's a lot of like places that are hidden gems on this campus and departments and people. One of the most interesting places is down in if you go down to the Tech and Trades wing, there is a hallway down there with really awesome seating. It's kind of in like a nook and cranny. It's hard to find. I encourage students to go and travel down the Tech and Trades wing. It doesn't seem like much when you're walking down there, but if you go down to the wind turbine area and go down a certain hallway, there's like a really awesome seating, and it's quiet and it's really, really nice. So that's like kind of one of those physical gems. I think that sometimes we focus on like the front part of the school. Like you walk in, you have Davies Hall, we have our library, the essays right above all of those, and they're connected. And we forget that there's lots of other areas down all the way past the business wing. There's a lot of really nice seating and beautiful light. There's beautiful light down there, and it's also very quiet if you can get your butt in a seat. Sometimes it's hard to get to find a spot. It's busy.
Get quite busy.
So travel down there as well. As far as like people and departments, I would say that we do really try to focus on what students need and services, but one of the most underused departments or not used appropriately departments is actually student services. So sometimes we think of student services as like, I pay my fee, we don't think of it. It is a resource. It's not just there for you to go and pay your fee. It is.
They're super helpful. Any questions
so
I've
great.
ever had, they've always been able to answer them right away.
They're so great. So if you as a student are perplexed at an issue, I would say come see us first. Student Association is going to always have your back and direct you. But Student Services really is that great hub of information, and they should help you with anything you need. And if they can't help you right then, they're going to tell you where to go. And I think it's underutilized in that way. I think it's overutilized in going in and having to pay your tuition and get your card if you require it, or talk to OSAP. But I think it's underutilized as a catch-all of they're there to literally to serve students. It's what's their department is. Like, go there and use them. That's their job. So go in there and get to know the people in there. They're all really, really wonderful. So
awesome.
Cool. Yeah. And career services, they're all in the same place, right?
Yeah, they're all in there. And international department is just down from it. So kind of that hub area of like what any student might need.
Yeah.
Okay.
So use those to your advantage. You pay for those services, so you should go in and
on your way down from the SA.
Yes, bottom of the stairs.
If you still have questions, bottom of the stairs.
I mean, we're always there, and we're like a little bit cooler. Probably like this much cooler.
Only
maybe
this much.
maybe that. But use them to the best of your ability, because that's what their job is, and it's our job as well. But they're all really, really kind and really nice. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, what is kind of a piece of advice that you would give new students or just students in general?
I think the most important thing for any student, no matter how old you are, what program you're in, what kind of lifestyle you live, where you came from, your financial situation, whatever it is, I think you have to be adaptable. I think you have to be flexible. The most important thing for students and how you learn is having an open mind. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
If you can't be open-minded, how do you learn anything, right? Exactly. None of us would. People who are closed off and don't want to learn won't.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks.
No, you can't. You have to be open. So, but I think that follows you in anything in your life. So if you want to be a successful student, and being a successful student doesn't mean you have a 4.0 GPA. It's not the definition of success. The definition of a successful student is that you've learned and you've connected, and you graduate and you have a job, or you graduate and you're going on to something different, and you've created a portfolio for yourself, your time. So being adaptable and flexible is such a key component to that. Being ready to roll with whatever comes. If there's an opportunity that scares you, do it. Like, if something scares you, you should probably
get out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's better to fail at school, where it's safe environment, rather than fail out in the real world where you have real life consequences, right?
And don't be afraid to fail, because that's how you learn.
Exactly.
You got to make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is the best spot to do it. Like,
sure.
It's harder to fail when you, I have 2 kids, I have a home, a life. It's harder to fail when you have things riding on it. It's harder.
So much consequences.
Right.
There.
Exactly.
There is. You have more things to lose, right? But if you have a safe spot, a safe place where you're supposed to be learning, and you can make mistakes and you can fail and learn from them. So I think being open, adaptable to change, and that will serve you well in your life.
Definitely.
And in your career, and in your just in life in general. Things happen. We have to be okay with those things. So I find the most successful students are the ones who are focused. They're focused, but they always have that kind of like running along parallel to them, that like, it's okay if something kind of happens. I can jump over here for a bit and live in here and jump back into over here, right?
Yep.
So that would be my key to all students. I think it opens up so many avenues and so many doors.
Awesome.
Is there something that you wish, excuse me. Yeah. Is there something that you wish somebody told you day one that would sort of ease your transition into your role and your experience here at St. Lawrence?
Oh, that's a good question. So many things.
Yeah.
So many things. Probably my first year doing this job, I wanted to make my mark. I wanted to come in and, feel like I had done something big and I had made change and I had, inspired somebody.
You wanted to be the hero.
I wanted to be that person,
right?
I really, really did. And that was coming right off of school. And before I went to school, I worked full time. I worked for chapters for many, many years and I loved it. But it just I knew I wanted more for myself and I knew I could do more. So I kind of built this in my brain that I had to be so successful and I had to hit all these pillars. So in my first year I overcompensated. And that was a detriment to me. It was because I couldn't hold myself to this crazy standard. So probably I wish someone had come to me and said, like, Beth, it takes time. Everything takes a lot of time, and getting 1% better a day is better than trying to, bust your butt and you actually don't get better at all. I'd rather increase by 1% every single day. If anyone hasn't read, you should read. It's called Atomic Habits. It's a great book, and he talks about bettering yourself by 1% every day. And if you better yourself by and it's little tiny things, like how you say hello to somebody in the morning.
Just one little habit.
It's one little tiny thing. If I don't put the coffee back in the cupboard every morning and I just start doing that every single day, I've increased my, ability to improve, right? And it's consistency. So I wish someone had kind of explained that to me. Like, it doesn't have to be in 12 months you do everything and you are everything to everyone. It's a slower progression, and I wish I had known that. And that's the same. That is transferable to your life and to school and to everything else. It's a mind state, right? That you have to push yourself, but not to an extreme, because then you just...
That's a great piece of advice. Like, I wish that somebody had told me that on my
that
first day of school. Because
I learned something today.
1%.
1%.
1%. Yeah.
When I see you guys in the hall, I'm just going to go,
1%.
There we go.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but honestly, it's an important thing, and I still practice it, and it's hard. Some days it's not possible, but the more you get in that mindset and work towards that, I think you can be really successful and adaptable, like we already talked about. So
definitely
Sweet.
being flexible is important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, cool. All right. And I guess we'll move on, talk about a little bit about orientation.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what is orientation exactly? What are we looking forward to when orientation happens?
Well, did you guys go to orientation?
Yes.
When you started?
Yes.
Funny story about orientation. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I'd like to hear it.
last year I came to orientation and it was a gaggle of people.
Yeah.
Right. And I just walked into the cafeteria, I got my backpack on, it's really
He's a
cool.
new man.
I'm a new man,
Ready
it's
to go.
ready to go.
Yeah.
And I walk in, it's like, oh my Lanta, there are so many people here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's people with little sticks, little signs, it's like School of Business, culinary, this and that, blah, blah. I'm like, oh man, where am I going to go? Right. And I had signed up for business marketing, right?
Okay.
So all I see is just a sign that says marketing. I was like, oh, that's
Perfect.
me.
That's
Perfect.
me.
I'm going to follow along with everybody else.
Yeah.
We sit down at the Mac lab and it was great, right? Like all the profs are there, all the students, and we're just like, we're learning. And it's like, we got this person from Visit Kingston and you guys are going to do a project with them. And I'm like, so cool,
Awesome.
right?
Yeah.
We get in our teams. We do our thing, and it's a week-long orientation kind of thing going on with our program, right?
Yeah.
And it's so cool, and I'm so excited. It's like we actually get to do something.
I already
on
know the
first
end
week.
of the story, and I feel for
I
you.
know it's coming.
And it's great, right? So we do the whole thing. I sit there for the whole week. We, it's
This
great.
is so good.
Yeah, so come day one of actual classes, I look at my schedule and it says, you're going to, classroom, blah, 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 with, whatever teacher. I get in there, I sit down in the classroom, and the teacher's just like, all right, and then for tomorrow, we need to read chapter 2. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not at all what we did last week, right? It was not, no books. It's like, I didn't know.
We didn't talk about any of this.
Yeah, books? What is this? I have to read? No,
This is
thank you.
hilarious.
And so I immediately left. I did not go to my
Yep.
next class. I went to go talk to the other profs, Kathy Patterson and
Right.
Laura Kittner.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Who are amazing.
Amazing.
by the way,
Absolutely amazing.
absolutely great. And I go talk to them, and I'm like, okay, what is happening here? And they just tell me, it's like, well, you're in the wrong program.
Yeah.
Right.
You signed up for business marketing. We're AMC.
AMC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's the difference? And they're like, you know what? Just go to these classes, take a picture of it on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I went to these classes, not my actual classes.
Right.
And I started going to those classes. Next thing I know, my schedule changed up, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So they basically took care of me.
Yep.
They knew
Nice.
that it was a good fit for me. I knew it was a good fit for me, better
Yeah.
than being something more rote,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I ended up in the AMC program.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but it's really a
That's good,
testament.
though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, how not only were the profs like willing to work with me and help
Yeah.
me
That's
and
so great.
figure out where I sit better and what is a better fit for me.
Yeah.
You know, but the school and everything and how accommodating
Yes.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
They were super
Yeah.
adaptable, right? Whereas
Yeah.
they could have been sticklers to the rules and been like, no,
No,
you signed up
you're
for
in.
this. Like, this is what you got
Exactly.
to do. They adapted to what you wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Exactly.
So
And
that's
it was
really cool.
and that's another reason that it's just like why I love the school, why I love the
sure.
program I'm in, why
Yeah.
I love the profs, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's such a great experience for me.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
that like back to the whole adaptability thing,
Yeah.
you know, it's like
For sure.
and everybody was willing to and work, and it was
Yeah.
great.
That's so funny though. What
Exactly.
a fluke
Yeah.
that you. I mean, that's
Exactly.
hilarious. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it. I would expect nothing less from Kathy Patterson.
For
Love you,
sure.
Kathy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shout out.
Big shout out
You're
to
the
Kathy.
best.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kathy and Laura, yeah, definitely the best.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So like, there's a perfect example of like attending, going. And it shifting or changing something, or your perspective. I think
Yeah.
orientation is such a key and important part of the year for students. I do know a lot of people kind of like, what is orientation? Is it just like a really fun day, or like what is it? It's a mixture. I think the most important thing about orientation is you meet people who are going to be in your program, and you find a comfort level, and you meet your professors. Yes,
Yeah.
there's going to be fun things, and there's going to be giveaways, and you're going to get, you know, to enjoy the day in that way,
For
in
sure.
that fun way, which is a big part of what Student Association does. But I'm a true believer in, just like you have an orientation at work, like when you start a new job and you want to know what this place is all about and what's going on, orientation provides you a comfort level and provides you an understanding of the environment you're about to go into.
sure.
And having that is so important to your success as well, right? So meeting your profs, understanding the program, connecting with at least one or two people that might be in your program, and
Right.
seeing a friendly face on the first day of class
Yeah.
is not a bad thing.
Oh,
It's
it's
a
great.
nice thing to walk in and go, oh, I remember that
Yeah.
person. We sat beside each other at lunch and chatted about whatever. Your first group project, you're gonna
You're
work
good.
together,
Yeah.
right? So taking advantage of that. If you're shy and you're introverted, you're gonna find somebody else who's shy and introverted.
Yeah.
Find those people.
Yeah. Find your people.
Find your people.
Find
Find
your
your
tribe,
people.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
find your people. Like
Your
you're
vibe
not the
attracts the
only
tribe.
person.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
you're not the only person. Likelihood of you being the only person who is shy and has a hard time starting conversations with people is slim, that you're the only
Yeah.
one. There's somebody else.
Yeah.
So find that person, because know that they're feeling probably the exact same way as you. And extroverts, be kind to the introverts. Don't scare them.
Don't scare them. Don't trample over
I
them.
literally work on this every single day of my life, not
Yeah.
scaring the introverts. Just
Yeah.
like bring it down 85 notches if you can. But it's a pivotal time to meet people and get used to
Yeah.
the environment. So we will be having our orientation on September 3rd. Classes start the next day. So you will be receiving things in the mail, all about that. Coming into the school, basically you'll be here, you'll split up into your programs, you'll go into classrooms, and the rest of the day will be some fun stuff. But I encourage every single new student to be here on that day. It is so important, and you'll get to meet a lot of us too. So it's a really good day.
Yeah, and then you get T-shirts,
Yep.
bags, you get lanyard.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that, too, for me, when I came for my orientation, that was also my first look at clubs.
Yes.
So I got to kind of take a look at all the different clubs that we had on campus
Yep.
and really see what I had an interest in.
Yep.
And then just sign up. And then most
Yeah.
of the clubs have like a meet and greet kind of day, so you
Yep.
can feel it out even more, see if you like it.
Yep.
And some of my best friends were from my clubs.
For your club.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like one of those things that it's a great way to meet people. Looks great on a resume.
For sure.
All like you got to think about these things when
Yeah.
you're coming in, and
Building that portfolio.
absolutely, right? You you'll meet people and connect with people who are going to give you different opportunities. So orientation day is like your first beginning coming in. Glenn, our president of the college, will be speaking on that day. You'll get to see him. We'll have some departments set up and some services that you can enjoy as a student. So getting all that information. Some people find it overwhelming, and if you find it overwhelming, you need to find somebody with a white and red shirt that says St. Lawrence College. We'll all be wearing them, and just say, hey, like, this is a lot. I only want this information. Come and find us, and we will tell you where you need to go to get that information. Just know that we're all here. Our jobs are literally that day is one of the most important days to all of our jobs. So come see us, hang out with us, get a free lunch. Like, why not get free lunch? It's pretty good too.
If nothing else,
yeah.
get a free lunch.
Oh yeah.
You know
Free
what the
lunch.
restaurant lunch is?
Free.
The free kind.
It is the best kind. So come see us on that day. It'll be fun. It'll be good.
You'll also get to meet the board of directors. So
Yes.
they want to have a volleyball game, so you can go sign up, and you get to meet all 7 of the elected student board members.
Oh, very cool.
Outside.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be a really good opportunity to meet
And
them
they're
as well.
super competitive. So
Super
bring your
fun.
A game.
They're so much fun, and they're so nice.
Yeah, they are nice.
They're really
but
nice.
but I feel like it's gonna be a tough game. Whoever plays them. 'Cause
Whoever-
they're-
Oh, it's gonna be real competitive.
Oh, it's
This is
gonna be
cutthroat.
competitive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Competition.
yeah.
I'm
But
into watching that.
that's okay. Like I like a little
I
competitive.
played volleyball at the intramurals last year.
There you go.
and,
Competition builds community.
There
It
are
does.
some
Yeah.
good volleyball players out there,
Oh,
so I hope they
for
come
sure.
out.
Yeah, they're gonna come.
Especially our AMC team. So
Okay.
you guys better
Do
come
it.
out and play.
Do it. Yeah.
I know I'll be competing on the opposite team, so I
Yes.
can help.
I will
bring
not be
them down.
competing, but I will be cheering.
Yeah.
I will be cheering. Yeah, they'll be on site that day, and I think it's important to mention too that orientation day is one day, but we do run a lot of orientation events throughout the first couple weeks of school.
Okay.
There will be a calendar provided in a bag that you receive. We'll also have it at the Student Association front desk. Any new students who are coming to get their student cards, you can pick that up before school even starts. But we will have tons of events running. We have a boat cruise happening. We have coffee connections happening. We have a resource program. So we'll have SLC connections. So many things. If you want more information on that, check out the calendar and you
We're
can
gonna
email.
plug some of those
Perfect.
events here too.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
We'll
plug
talk
those,
about it
so
then.
Yeah.
But lots of stuff in the first 2-3 weeks for you to take advantage of. So come out, hang out with us. It'll be tons of fun.
Lots
I'll
of
be there.
fun.
We'll probably all be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious. What's your advice for a new mature student coming in, as opposed to someone that's fresh right out of high school?
Yeah, so I was a mature student.
Right.
When I came in, I had one child at that time. My husband worked full time for my first 2 years, and then my third year, he was actually gone for the entire year on contract. So it was really, really challenging. It is hard. Has a different level of complexity when you're a mature student. It's not more challenging. I think everyone has their own challenges, and we all have our own struggles. So I don't take away that if you're 19 and coming to school, it's still challenging. It's still hard.
Absolutely.
Like there's probably a lot more different things than
Yeah.
mature students dealing with. But mature students do have complexity because most mature students are coming back because they were unsuccessful in their first career, want to change. There's more riding on it financially. Usually, there's more burden as far as debt.
Right.
So that's hard. Having children, scheduling, daycare. It provides just more strands of things to follow and manage. So my biggest piece of advice is organize yourself, plan accordingly, use your school office to look at your schedule. Some school offices will be forgiving in the way that they look at your schedule if you come to them and say, listen, I don't have childcare until this time on this day. They will try their best to find a different course that may be able to work or a different time that course is slotted. If you have issues with that, come see me. I can advocate for you for that one. Using all the services on campus, math and writing, tutoring, peer tutoring, going to Davies Hall, using computer labs. Treat it like a job. Mature
Definitely.
students,
Yeah.
be here 8 to 4 every day.
Yeah.
For me, as a mature student, that's I struggled with that a little bit in my first semester.
Totally.
My second semester was a little easier. Like I just treated it as a job. I got here, it was like a 9 to 5 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was able to get my work done and still able to socialize.
Yeah.
Because it is still, college is still a very social.
Yeah.
So, I was in the caf and I'd see, all my homies,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, what's up? And then, we were able to share notes and talk through things.
Yeah.
So definitely treating it as a job would probably be, at least my advice for anybody, really.
Yeah.
And the more time you spend here, it makes you feel implemented in the school.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes it more of a community.
Yeah,
vibe.
Exactly.
more community
Definitely.
vibe for
It's
sure.
like your second home, right?
Yeah.
Like you get comfortable, you have things you like, things you do. Like that's what.
Yeah, I think treating it as a job for sure is one of those key components because you're just here.
Yeah.
And then everything's done. And then I found that really useful when I would get home for the night. I had to be a mom and a wife and all of those other things to other people. But if I was done all my things, I could do that.
Right.
I was able to still do that. And I think a lot of mature students, whether you're a man or a woman, you have children, I think the caveat in that is that you do feel sometimes that you're not providing them the level of parenting that you should be because you can't focus as much, but it's not about that. The beautiful thing is your children watching you go back to school and be successful. That is an amazing thing to give your kids. So treat it like a job, focus, organize yourself, and use every single resource on this campus. And if you don't know about them, come see the Student Association, and I will tell you every single one, and you use them because you pay for them.
Yeah.
And use them to the utmost, right? Let them help you. Use those programs and services.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Is there something new that the SA is sort of building upon? Like, what are sort of the goals of the SA this year that's sort of different from any other year?
Well, I don't think we've strayed from our overall goal. Our overall goal is, to support students, protect and promote their rights on campus, and provide them good services and programs at a great cost or value for their money.
Right.
Those are, big pillars of the Student Association. So don't think that's deviated. The way that we'll be doing that this year will be a little bit different. But I think overall what we provide and do for students won't change. Some of the areas what we're going to be focusing on this year that may be a little bit different is I do think that we have a different level of event ideology. Our ideology on events for a very long time was just fun. Whatever could be fun and enjoyable for students, we just put it out there and let them take advantage of that. I think we still have a lot of that, but I do see the student team this year looking at it more from, I don't want to say an academic perspective, but more from like a life development level. Okay. I do think you'll see a lot more infusion of, well, this is fun, but you're also going to be able to develop some skills from this, or you're going to be able to network in a different way from this. So I think we're trying to cover our bases and broaden what we provide. And I think you'll see a little bit more advocacy related programming from the Student Association in all levels. So when I talk about advocacy, I'm talking about students coming to us and asking for us to advocate on their behalf from a multitude of reasons, academically, personally, outside of school, looking for legal advice. We will help you with all of those things in different areas. But I think you'll also see advocacy at a municipal, provincial, and federal level when we're talking about education and some of the things that we've seen happening in education, the OSAP changes that we've seen recently. Our organization works on that, and we take it really, really seriously. And we look at that as an opportunity for our students to say, give their 2 cents and help move legislation in a way that benefits all students and not just some. So I do think you'll see a little bit more of that. Some of that stuff happens more behind the scenes. That students don't like. It's not like out in the open. We're not like chanting in the hallways that like we're writing a letter to the provincial government. Like we don't, that's, but it is something that we actually do quite a lot. And so I think you'll see like just different components of what our overall goals are just in different areas. And I'm actually very, very, very excited about that. And I think it's so important for all students to be aware of that and involved as much as they can.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. That sounds great. I think that's definitely the approach with all the government changes that we're seeing. I definitely think that's the approach that more institutions need to take moving forward.
Yeah, and you all need to be educated on it, have an understanding of it, and know when to speak to it and why to speak to it. And it's a good skill set for students to have, to go out and be able to say, like, this is not something that we want. Like, at the end of the day, you're the student. Yeah. You're the member of this institution, and every other college. There's 24 colleges in Ontario plus universities. There's a lot of institutions, and you should be able to have some sort of control and dictate some of the legal changes or legislation that's happening that affects your ability to learn. So that is an important thing to remember and thing to take away. And the Student Association as a body, we're mandated to look at that and be responsible for that and speak to it when we can. So,
and if there's any information that people don't know about, or you kind of know some things but don't know the whole scope, again, you can go to the Student Association, right? The doors are always open. We have all of that information. So and
we're here to help. So if you have been affected by OSAP changes, please come and see us, and we will try to work with you to help you as best we can. I know the college is fairly committed to working on that as well, so we can help you with that. And in general, any other thing that you may be struggling with, like, my message is really, like, use us to our full potential, because we have a lot of strength. We are a strong organization on this campus, and use us as your strength to get through whatever you need.
For sure. Cool. Awesome. Sweet.
All right, cool. Well, Beth, thank you so much for being on the show. Yeah, no, definitely. And then is there any plugs, anything that you'd like to plug real quick? Shout outs?
Plugs, shout outs. I don't even know. St. Larry's Pub is going to be opening in September. We are closed right now, but we open back up in September. And I want to plug it because I worked on that project for 3 years, and we finally opened last January. And it was such a long process, but it was so worth it. And it's such a beautiful place, and it was built for students, by students. And I want people to remember that. We welcome everybody into the pub, but remember at the end of the day that pub was built for every student on this campus to enjoy and to use. And we're working really, really hard for it to be an environment that students enjoy. So go have a quick bite, get a drink. We do serve lots of different local beers on tap. We have a great staff. We have a really, really wonderful staff at the pub, and we host a lot of awesome events in the pub. So I'll plug the pub because it's my baby, and it's something that I literally watch from sketches on a piece of paper to an actual room. So it's quite amazing.
I do like the idea of having the pub. Like, especially like between classes, or like I said, I'm just here all day mostly. So
just a social place.
It's just a great social place, and it breaks the monotony of because even though you're still at the college, it feels like you're not at the college.
No,
and with those big old huge windows, and it's like, even if you're not watching a game, there's always someone at the gym. There's something happening. And in the evenings, there's always something going on. And it's just a great, it is a great place to go and just hang out.
And the food is so good. I'm so excited for the nachos.
Oh, yeah, we have nachos coming this year. We have a lot of different things coming this year. So
I'm so excited.
I'm actually very excited too. So please check it out. Please come down. It is your home, just like the Student Association is your home. That space belongs to students, and we just make sure that it's as good as it can be for you. Suggestions for space, always bring them to us. But I'm going to plug the pub, and I am going to put it out there. I said that I would come back on the podcast at some point during this year, and the next time I come back, I will do a full makeup tutorial while you guys ask me questions. But the only way I'll do it is if you get, I don't know, like, at least how many likes or comments or something on your video. You someone 2. At least 2.
Well, and on top of that, why don't we get the students? We'll get the students to ask the questions.
Sure.
So send us in a bunch of questions.
Yeah. We'll open up our messenger and you send us questions live, and we'll ask Beth as she's putting off the clown makeup.
Yeah. No, it'll be good makeup.
Okay.
Listen, I'm gonna. She's a beauty guru. It's gonna be great. But you can ask me anything you want. We'll put information in the link in the description box on what might be happening. And please, leave questions or comments. And if you want me to use anything specific on my face, let me know. Yeah. Well, I mean, makeup.
As long as
makeup.
As long as it's not $100 mascara.
No, that's not gonna happen.
No.
Okay.
No, Maybelline all the way.
You'll also have to teach me what a mascara is.
Fine. Hey, maybe we can do a little bit of that too. For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
But it'll be at some point this year. Please let me know if anyone would like to see that. Keep me in the loop if your audience thinks that's interesting. I will do that.
Definitely. We will definitely do that.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Right.
Have a great afternoon.
Sweet.
You too.
Okay.
All right. And so that was our conversation with Beth. I had a lot of great things. Who doesn't know how to make soup, though? You know what I mean?
Ask your mom.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So that was good. That was good. And Elle,
Yeah.
you know what's going on this month?
Yeah, so we got a lot of events coming up this month. So we have our boat cruise coming up. We have Coffee and Connections, Clubs Day, all kinds of things. You can find out more information on the SASLC website, or you can check out any of the posters around the college, come up to the front desk and ask us, and also on the SASLC social media site. Yeah, so that's basically where you can find us. Reed, do you want to let us know where they can find the podcast?
Yeah, so you can find us on YouTube, and on our Instagram handle is the best way to get a hold of us at SA Voice Podcast, and that is where you can reach us.
Yeah, where can people reach you though?
I am at SneakyPig1.
All right, and what about you? Where people will follow you? Like
I'm at El Isadora.
Elle Isadora. All right, and I'm at No Middle Name 13 on Instagram. And that was it for today. Be sure to check in, not next week, but the week after. All right,
Awesome.
and yeah, we'll see you then. See you on the
Then.
then.
Yeah, that'll be then, and this is now. Take care.
Cool.